Hello, my name is Brant Hunt, and my channel is simply called Discerning What is True. Today, I think, is the 26th day of March 2024. Going to be reading a couple of chapters here from this particular book here from Walter Russell, The Secret of Time, chapter 10 and 11. So thank you for being here. Got a little different setup here. And see how it works out. Thank you for being here. So we're going to read chapter 10 and chapter 11 of his works. And we're going to deal with chapter 10, which is his name, simply the functions of the brain. So here we go. Electric awareness of observed effects of matter in motion is registered in the brain. It is commonly believed that the brain thinks and knows. The brain does not think, nor does it know. It is but a storehouse of recorded sensations. The brain remembers, that is, those records for man's uses as he needs them and fulfilling the requirements of his body. Now, the key word here is he doesn't spell it out. You need to understand the word remember is a key word, possibly to be what we call where we came from. So you were a member at one time, and what's happened simply is you need to remember where you came from. Okay? Just thinking of those things, okay? These records for man's uses as he needs them and fulfilling the requirements of his body. The brain is a complex state of motion expressed by waves of light pulsing in cycles. States of motion cannot know anything, nor can they think anything. The brain is part of a machine, a human machine. Machines can express thoughts which are electrically projected through them, but machines are incapable of thinking the thoughts thus projected. Likewise, machines can express knowledge, but they cannot have knowledge. Likewise, machines can do marvelous things when patterned and controlled by knowledge, but they cannot know what they do. Now remember, Walter Russell is a brilliant man, so he's explaining some deeper concepts here, okay? And we haven't even gone through probably not quite a third of the book here. Probably a quarter. The centering conscious mind of man, that is his soul-will, alone thinks by projecting desire for creative expression through the brain machine. Desire in mind is electrically expressed. Electricity is the motive force which projects the one light of mind two ways to create cycles of light waves for the purpose of expanding or expressing thought cycles. Desire is not in the brain. It is in the centering conscious self. Desire is the cause of all motion. Next section is called The Brain Records Sensations. The brain is but the electric recording mechanism of conscious mind thinking. It is also man's storage warehouse of electric records of memories and thoughts since his beginning. It is the servant of universal intelligence. It operates all mechanisms of the body. It acts as the central switchboard for all its instinctive, voluntary, and involuntary actions. The brain is the seat of sensation. Its purpose in this respect is to keep the body electrically informed of the condition of the body through electrical messages. Such messages are not mental. They are purely electrical. They produce sensation. The brain senses and records every message. It sends counteracting messages to other parts of the body. So what Russell is speaking of here is that he's understood simply is that the universe is electrical. And so he's using that not on the outward part of the universe, the many worlds out there, But he's also revealing this simply is what takes place in your head. So what he's saying simply is it is also electrical. The body is a vast and complex mechanism. The brain is electrical recorder, distributor, broadcaster, and receiver for all operational parts of that multi-cell machine, but its actions have no relation to intelligence. The brain records sensations of experience and observations which the senses convey to it. So it's like whatever it receives on the outside, for example, a bird chirping, and then the type of chirping that bird is doing or singing, you can recognize that by simply as observing it and then realizing, oh, that's a blue jay there singing such and such, and this is their mimicking sound such and such. So that goes in your memory bank, so to speak, and remembers that. So when you walk out, later on or whenever, another time, and you hear that bird singing such and such, you recognize that it was a blue jay, you see. The brain records sensations of experience, observation, which the senses convey to it. Such sensations are mistaken for thinking and knowing. Sensations arising from electrical motion is purely automatic. Mistake is assuming that the brain thinks and knows is due to the fact that man believes himself to be thinking when he is only sensing. Man also believes that he is acquiring knowledge through sensory observations of sense or effect, when he is but recording electrical sensations which inform him as the nature of things observed by his senses. The body is a pattern machine designed to do many things. Electric motivation through nerve wires determining each movements, when such sensations act in unison with his consciousness awareness of the light which centers him as person. He is then thinking as well as sensing. The centering consciousness of man, that is the person, transform information received by the senses into knowledge to the extent of which he is capable of recognizing cause in spirit. Back up the effect which he senses, which he records. See, the whole idea of cause and the effect. Cause and the effect. See. Until that transformation takes place, man is without knowledge, no matter to what extent his senses may have informed him, for information is not knowledge. A man may be veritable encyclopedia of information. He may have earned many college degrees for being well informed, and yet he is without sufficient knowledge to create anything. For instance, we cannot sense the idea of a heart while it is still, but we can know the idea of the heart. We can know its various possibilities of expression, even though its strings are not vibrating. Likewise, we can imagine countless complexities of rhythm which lie unexpressed within those still strings. Conversely, we cannot know the vibrations which come from those strings when we set them in motion. We can but sense those vibrations through our own sense electrical awareness. So here's some quotes here. The source of all things is within all things, centering them as rest, from which their motion springeth. It is also without all things, controlling their balance with all other things. Man's universe is still composed of many things, many separate things, and separable. Yea, not one thing is there in my image universe which is apart from me, nor of itself alone. Yea, I guide my borning things from very seed by sense thread of light extensions of my thinking until they themselves can guide me. Not the least of these which are not bound to me in light. Quote, images of my imagining which grow from earth and those which freely move, all of these things grow and move through extended light of my dynamic thinking until they themselves can think with me. So these are the quotes from his book called The Divine Idiot. Okay, so now we get into chapter 11, electrical awareness. This material universe of many seemingly separate parts is electric. The whole universe of countless parts is wired together by electric flux of, quote, nerves, end quote, which inform each part of the universe of the ever-changing conditions of every other part. There is no, quote, sensation, end quote, between balanced parts or balanced conditions of matter, but by, quote, sensation, end quote, we mean the field of the electric current which conveys the message. The electric current is impossible in its equilibrium condition. Hence, we can feel no sensation whatsoever when our bodies or parts of them are in balanced condition. Electrical awareness is necessary to mechanized universe. An electrical control machine in one's factory has exactly the same electric awareness that a man has. You see, this is what man's created. He's created a machine, you see, but that machine is just like him. You see, it doesn't do anything more than a man does, you see. It's just there, it creates, it's mechanical. Its wired nervous systems convey electric messages to its parts, you see, for the dual purpose of motivating them as well as for adjusting all parts to each other in continuity. So this is, the man is, in reality simply has actually built something similar to himself and ways of working as a machine. But man is not a machine, you see. But he's picked up on what we call, as he even analyzes himself and how he does these things. It seems, now this wasn't done by one man, folks. This is little by little, everything's been put together. So that's why we have electric machines. This is why it works this way, because simply is, and it moves a certain direction, such and such, because it reveals the movement in some ways what man is like muscles and contracting and extracting type of thing, you see. It's electric machines do what electric awareness demands of them through sensation. So does man, so does the trees, so does the solar system, and every nebula of the heavens. Man's body cells are electrically aware of their mechanicalism, purposes, and response to electric messages sent to them. They have electrical cell memory, you see, of their individual and group purposes. They act automatically when sense reflexes are electrically motivated. Bodily functions, such as our heartbeat, digestion, chemical gland transformation, breathing, and walking, are automatically operated by cell memory reflexes. Cell memory and instinct cause birds to migrate, spiders to spin webs, and certain vegetable growths to close in on flies and fishes. Instinctive action and cell memory reflex actions are not mental. They are purely mechanical and automatic. See, all we've done is made a replica of who we are in a lot of ways, except there's no soul in a machine, you see. The next section is called electric awareness is universal. This principle, electric awareness through sensation, is not limited to animal life alone. It is equally characteristic of the mineral and vegetable kingdoms. It extends to the various electronic particle and to the mightiest galaxy. Not only is each particle in each mass electrically aware of its purpose, but each particle in the entire universe reacts in response to electrical messages sent to it from every other particle in the universe. This physical universe is controlled solely by electrical sensation, which is measured and balanced by the still magnetic light centering all things. Then he has a quote here. For behold, saith the universal one, I am within all things centering them, and I am without all things controlling them. This is from the Divine Iliad quote. Continues on. All of the electric universe of motion is thus so perfectly conditioned by the two electric workers which build the universe and tear it apart completely for rebuilding, that all moving things in it sense all other moving things in it. Likewise, all differently conditioned things in the universe readjust their conditioning to every change of condition of every other thing in the universe. There is a constant separating process in nature which forever expresses the universal desire for change and multiplicity. And there is likewise a constant leveling process which forever expresses the universal desire for oneness. So it even reveals that man has created something that way, wanting oneness, to work together in unity. Now, here's some quotes from him, also from the Divine Iliad. I, with man, am creating man in my universe image. Quote, what I am, man is. Quote, I think idea, and the form of my idea appears in the pattern of my thinking. I think man, and man appears in the patterns of my thinking. Quote, man thinks man, and man appears in the image of man's thinking, end quote. Man's thinking is my thinking. Quote, all thinking things are thinking my thinking, end quote. And all creative things are formed in the image of my thought, imagining to manifest my thought, imagining, end quote. The universe is my image, creature of my imagining, end quote. So that's the conclusion of chapter 11. And thank you for being here this evening. I just wanted to read this for you guys out here. Hope you're doing well and wish you a good evening. You take care. We'll talk soon.